Welcome to the session of fat soluble vitamins under food technology. Dear students, you are aware of the fact that our body needs various kinds of macro as well as micronutrients for sustaining the life. Vitamins are complex organic compounds and are present in minute amounts in natural foodstuffs. Fat soluble vitamins occur in nature in association with lipids, and their absorption is known to take place in the presence of dietary fats. Conditions that are favorable to fat absorption are said to be favorable for the absorption of fat soluble vitamins. Fat soluble vitamins can be stored in appreciable amounts in the body due to their lipid nature and are excreted in the feces via the bile. Let's learn about vitamin A. Vitamin A is the generic term used for large number of related compounds such as retinol and retinal, which are often referred to as preformed vitamin A. It was discovered in 1909 by McCallum and Davis. Vitamin A is required for the maintenance of normal vision. Retinol as well as retinal can be interconverted. Other most important compounds of vitamin A family are retinal esters and beta carotene. Carotenoids are the major precursors of vitamin A and are structurally associated with B carotenes. Let's learn about the functions of vitamin A. Vision. Vitamin A facilitates vision in dim light. Adequate amount of retinol is essential, otherwise it results in impaired dark adaptation, normally known as night blindness. Immunity. It is also known as anti-infective vitamin. The skin and the mucosal cells which line the digestive and urinary tract functions as a barrier to form body's first line of defense against infections. Retinol and its metabolites are much needed for maintaining the integrity and function of these cell lines. Growth and development. Both retinol and retinoic acid are very essential for the embryonic development, cell differentiation and gene expression. The differentiation of immature bone cells into different types of mature cells is a very important process which is highly dependent on vitamin A. Reproduction. Vitamin A is considered to be very essential during pregnancies as evidenced in the recent years. Serum retinol concentration should be less than 20 microgram per deciliter was found to be associated with the preterm delivery. Sources of vitamin A. Vitamin A has been estimated to possess different potencies which vary with dietary sources. For instance, carotene is less easily absorbed than the retinol and needs to be converted to retinal. Free retinol is not generally found in food. Retinyl palmitate is a precursor and is the major storage form of retinol, which is exclusively found in foods of animal origin. Yellow, orange and green colored vegetables and fruits contains significant amount of vitamin A. Cod liver oil, eggs, butter, milk, sweet potato, carrot, papaya, mango, spinach and broccoli are considered as the good sources of vitamin A. Deficiency of vitamin A. Maintenance of normal vision is the unique function of vitamin A. Night blindness is one of the specific manifestations of this deficiency. Untreated cases would progress towards the development of bitoid spots, corneal ulcerations, keratomalacia and development of corneal scar, and it is non-reversible. Deficiency of vitamin A affects growth and development as it impairs skeletal growth. Severe deficiency could have adverse effect on fetal growth and development. Sterility in males is a common problem seen as a consequence of degeneration of germinal epithelium. Both specific and non-specific protective mechanisms are known to be adversely affected, which tends to increase the individual's susceptibility to develop infections. Toxicity of vitamin A. The major symptoms include headache, drowsiness, nausea, loss of hair, dry skin, diarrhea, reabsorption of bone are the major problems encountered among adults. Among infants, it results in scaly dermatitis, loss of weight, anorexia, hyperirritability and skeleton pain. These symptoms are observed when dose exceeds more than 8,000 RE per day, which when taken for more than 30 days. RDA or the recommended dietary allowance. As per ICMR recommendation, an intake of 4,800 microgram beta carotene for both adult man and woman is advised. During pregnancy, extra allowances are needed to support fetal growth and is estimated to be about 6,400 microgram. During lactation, it is 7,600 microgram. For children between the age group of 1 to 6 years and 7 to 9 years, it is suggested to consume about 3,200 microgram and 4,800 microgram per day of beta carotene. Let's learn about another fat soluble vitamin, that is vitamin D. Vitamin D is commonly known as sunshine vitamin since it is synthesized in the skin when exposed to sunlight. It was discovered by Sir Edward Mellanby in 1918, who identified the anti-arctic properties of vitamin D. This vitamin exists in two forms, that is vitamin D3, also known as cholecalciferol, which is found in foods of animal origin. The other form is vitamin D2, referred also as ergocalciferol, and is widely distributed among plant substances. Available scientific evidences have suggested that exposing hand and face for about 15 minutes a day for at least 3 times a week is considered to be sufficient to synthesize vitamin D in the body. Let's know about the functions of vitamin D. The most important metabolite of vitamin D, which has physiological significance, is 1,25-dihydroxy vitamin D. It has the ability to enhance the level of calcium binding protein in the small intestine, thus helps in the absorption of dietary calcium and phosphorus. Mobilization of calcium and phosphorus in association with parathyroid hormone occurs in the bone due to vitamin D. In the kidney, vitamin D promotes reabsorption of calcium. 1,25-dihydroxy is not directly involved in the bone mineralization process, but it exerts significant amount on the osteoblasts, and these in turn would help for proper mineralization. Vitamin D is also involved in the regulation of specific gene activity. This mainly occurs through the binding at specific regions in the DNA. So, let's learn about the sources of vitamin D. Vitamin D is naturally synthesized by exposing the skin to sunlight. Most foods have negligible amount of vitamin D. Marine fishes are the good sources. Egg yolk and buttermilk are the poor sources. Cod liver oil is one of the richest source, having the highest concentration of 1 lakh international unit per 100 gram of vitamin D. Deficiency of vitamin D. The common manifestations includes rickets and osteomalacia. Rickets is usually seen among children between the age of 1 and 3 years. The pronounced effect is seen during the pubertal stages. Occurrence of osteomalacia is associated with multiple parity, Osteoporosis is an age-related problem and is often accompanied by osteomalacia. Deficiency is very common in Indian subcontinent. Toxicity of vitamin D. An intake of 100 microgram of vitamin D causes hypercalcemia in children. Among adults, constantly higher amounts of intake in the range of 25,000 to 6,000 international units per day for 1 to 4 months would cause hypercalcemia. Common symptoms observed are loss of appetite, nausea, weight loss and failure to thrive. Hypervitaminosis occurs when the serum concentration of 25-hydroxyl vitamin D exceeds 700 to 1600 nanomolecule per liter. Overexposure to sunlight does not cause toxicity. Let's learn about another fat-soluble vitamin, that is vitamin E. Vitamin E has basically been discovered and characterized as a fat-soluble nutritional factor essential for normal reproductive processes. This specific role of vitamin E was found out in the course of carrying out reproductive studies with rats. In the year 1922, it was demonstrated that to prevent fatal death and sterility in rats, an important fat-soluble dietary constituent was identified to play a vital role in this regard. Initially, this was termed as factor X and was also being referred to as anti-sterility factor. Later, the name vitamin E was assigned. During the year 1936, it was isolated from the wheat germ oil and was termed as tocopherol, which is derived from the Greek word tokos and pherin. The term vitamin E is often used to denote a mixture of biologically active tocopherols. There are totally 4 tocopherol compounds, namely alpha, beta, gamma and omega tocopherols. About 4 types of tocopherols have been discovered. Alpha tocopherol is most abundantly available in nature and has been shown to possess highest biological activity and also has a vital role in reversing vitamin E deficiency symptoms among humans. In the year 1950s, it was rediscovered that vitamin E has specific role in cellular antioxidant system along with sulfur amino acid and selenium. Subsequently, it was also proven that it is very effective in preventing lipid peroxidation and various other events associated with radical-driven oxidative stress. Let's learn about food sources of vitamin E. Vitamin E is synthesized only by plants and hence is primarily found only in plant-based foods. Thus, fats and oils of vegetable origin are known to be the richest source of vitamin E. Vegetable oils and oils derived from food grains have been estimated to contain about 50 to 100 milligram per 100 gram of the product. Only 8 milligram is present in coconut oil. Wheat germ oil is exclusively the rich source of vitamin E, containing about 260 milligram per 100 gram. The chief sources in Indian diets are the vegetable oils, nuts, oil seeds and whole grains. Significant amount of tocopherols are found in palm oil, rice bran oil and bran and germ portions of certain cereals like oats, barley and rice. On an average, consuming 20 gram oil would contribute to 10 milligram of vitamin E. Hence, consuming 400 gram of food grains would have been found to contain 6 to 8 grams of fats, out of which 3 to 4 gram of vitamin E might be obtained. The total tocopherol content of various vegetable oils. Let's learn about functions of vitamin E. Antioxidant activity. Due to its antioxidant property, vitamin E protects key cell components by neutralizing free radicals before they can cause lipid oxidation or DNA damage. By reducing free radical attack, antioxidants help to break the chain reaction of lipid peroxidation, that is chain breaking antioxidant effect, and they protect the cell membranes by facilitating the processes of lipid repair and lipid replacements. Through this mechanism, they prevent cancer or heart diseases or any other form of degenerative disorders. A high plasma concentration of vitamin E is associated with lower risk of cardiovascular diseases. Role of vitamin E in cardiovascular diseases. Supplementary vitamin E was reported to be effective in reducing atherosclerosis progression in subjects with previous coronary artery bypass graft surgery who have not been treated with the lipid lowering drugs. Role of vitamin E in cancer. Vitamin E is known to induce apoptotic phase mainly via the process mediated through mitochondrial pathway and cell cycle arrest, which happens due to the suppression of cyclin D by tococorticosteroids. Other functions of vitamin E. Apart from its antioxidative role, vitamin E takes part in other biological processes which are as follows. Vitamin E facilitates the maintenance of cell membrane integrity. Vitamin E plays a major role in DNA synthesis. Vitamin E stimulates immune response. Vitamin E regulates intracellular signaling and cell proliferation mainly by modulating the protein kinase C activity. Vitamin E exerts anti-inflammatory effects mainly by direct and regulatory interaction with the prostaglandin synthetase and complex of enzymes which are mainly involved in the metabolism of arachidonic acids. Deficiency of vitamin E. Vitamin E deficiency is rarely encountered in humans. Overt deficiency symptoms in normal healthy individuals consuming diets low in vitamin E have never been described. Vitamin E deficiency may occur only as a result of certain genetic conditions such as abnormalities occurring in a alpha tocopherol transfer protein or fat malabsorption syndromes or in severe protein energy malnutrition. Toxicity of vitamin E. At present, there are no reports regarding the adverse effects resulting due to the consumption of vitamin E from natural foods. It is one of the least toxic vitamin. Both humans as well as animals are capable of tolerating relatively high intake levels of more than 100 times the estimated requirements. At very higher doses, vitamin E is thought to impair the utilization of the fat soluble vitamins in the body. For instance, animals that were supplemented with high doses of vitamin E were shown to have developed impaired bone mineralization, impaired storage of hepatic vitamin A and prolonged blood coagulation. Requirements of vitamin E. There are very limited data on vitamin E requirements. Alpha tocopherol content of vegetable oils and invisible fat in cereals and other foods is generally adequate to meet the daily requirement. Requirement is limited to essential fatty acids. Alpha tocopherol requirement is related to its major role in protecting antioxidant properties of essential fatty acid content in the diet, and the suggested intake is 0.8 milligram per gram of essential fatty acids. This roughly contributes about 8 to 10 milligram tocopherol D depending on the type of edible oil used. Vegetable oils and vegetable fats from cereals and other foods like nuts and vegetables contributes to adequate tocopherol in Indian diets. Let's learn about another fat soluble vitamin, that is vitamin K. Vitamin K was the last fat soluble vitamin to be discovered. Vitamin K was appeared to have very limited functional role in human being, that is its major role in initiating blood clotting mechanism. This vitamin was discovered in 1934 by a Danish scientist by name Dam. He explored the fact that bleeding in chickens could be prevented by feeding decayed fish meat. Vitamin K is also referred to as coagulation vitamin, antihemorrhagic vitamin and prothrombin factor. Vitamin K is highly indispensable for maintaining normal blood coagulation system in both human as well as other experimental animals. In general, it exists in two forms in nature. Vitamin K1 is widely distributed among plant kingdom and is termed as phyloquinones. The other form is K2, which was isolated from putrid fish and is called as minaquinin. The last form is K3, known as minadiones, and it is of purely synthetic form. This vitamin can be synthesized by intestinal flora. It is considered as one of the most important nutrient during infancy because intestinal synthesis is insufficient and it needs to be provided externally. Let's learn about the functions of vitamin K. The well-known function of vitamin K is its role in synthesis of blood clotting factors. Vitamin K is considered as one of the most essential nutrient required for catalyzing the conversion of the precursor of prothrombin to thrombin. In turn, prothrombin in the blood catalyzes the conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin, a factor involved in blood coagulation. The level of prothrombin in the blood is a major determinant of the rate at which the blood will be clotting. There are mainly two pathways, extrinsic and intrinsic, and are thought to have being involved in the process of generating prothrombin and the thrombin. The clotting process is proposed to be initiated by the absorption of factor 12 into collagen, which further leads into activation into 12A. This in turn cleaves 9 and is known to be vitamin K dependent. Once it is carboxylated, it binds with calcium and phospholipids and converts X to XA, which is also vitamin K dependent factor. Further, XA hydrolyzes prothrombin to thrombin. This is the final step which results in the conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin and initiates the clot formation. Let's know about the sources of vitamin K. Vitamin K is widely distributed in plant foods. Green vegetables are known to contain highest concentration of vitamin K. Dark green leaf vegetables such as kale, parsley and spinach would have been estimated to contain about 300 to 600 microgram per 100 gram. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts and lettuce are the intermediary sources having about 100 to 200 microgram per 100 gram. Non-leafy vegetables such as green beans, cauliflower and cucumber are also considered as significant sources which contains an average of 20 to 50 microgram per 100 gram. Certain vegetable oils such as olive oils are also known to contain relatively higher amount which ranges from 50 to 200 microgram per 100 gram. Fermented foods such as cheese are also known to contain considerable amounts. Apart from these, intestinal bacterial synthesis is also known to provide significant amount of vitamin K. Deficiency of vitamin K. Deficiency of vitamin K is rare among adults. primary deficiency normally is referred to as neonatal hemorrhage, is occasionally seen among infants. This could be mainly due to the fact that infants, when they are born, their stomach is completely sterile and is free from bacterial contamination. This could become a causative factor for the infants to develop deficiency, particularly when they are fed for long period on cows and human milk, as they are known to contain relatively small amount of vitamin K. Antibiotics and salicylic acid based medications are known to intestinal bacteria flora. Symptoms of deficiency is mainly manifested as prolonged blood coagulation time and increased susceptibility to hemorrhage. Recommended dietary allowances. The incidence of deficiency is very rare among Indians, and ICMR considered that no such recommendation is needed. A dose of 0.5 to 1 milligram of vitamin K can be administered intramuscularly to infants suffering from deficiency. The Committee on Medical Aspects of Food Policy of the United Kingdom declared that an intake of 1 microgram per kg per day is thought to be safe and adequate for adult age group. To conclude on this chapter of fat soluble vitamins, adequate intake of fat soluble vitamin is very essential for maintaining normal physiological functions. They could also be consumed as a means of correcting and preventing the disorders resulting due to the deficiency of these vitamins. Foods exposed of fat soluble vitamins are widely distributed in nature, and a regular intake of such food would help to meet the daily requirements. Since fat soluble vitamins can be stored in appreciable amount in the body, it is safer to consume them at a level designated by the nutrition expert committees in order to prevent the adverse effects. Thank you, viewers.